Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Swanton Selectboard meeting. It is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, 6 p.m. Start out with a pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with agenda review. Christina?
I am all set, thank you.
Earl? Good. Okay, I just got, I would like to move 4 and 5 to after Old Town business, because we have a couple people speaking to us tonight, so we'll just help move things along to them, if everybody's okay with that. Yep. And then, under new town business, just like Brian to update us a little bit on the procedure for hiring the zoning administrator. And then, where we're at right now as far as, I know we have some applications. Is that all right, Brian?
Yep.
I think that'd be good for the board to hear that. That's it.
One thing I have maybe is, since it got implemented on July 1st, maybe a small discussion about the local option tax, see how it's going.
Okay, we'll do that under, 7D. LOT.
I'm good.
Brian?
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, we can remove off the agenda the request of Glen Ridge HOA to take over the road. The person who's going to come in is not able to make it tonight because of an emergency. And then to add 2 items, I'd like to talk about a request for a letter of support for a traffic study in the area of the Sandy Point fishing access and Lakewood Drive. We got that request from AOT, so I guess put that under new business.
Okay.
And then also, I'd like to talk about Wheel Around and their stormwater permit and the HOA for a Wheel Around. We've got, they sent us a form so we can sign on as a co-permittee, but I think we need to discuss that and get further information on that. So I guess that's new business as well. And
Okay.
I think that's it.
Very good. All right.
Joel, can you ask the person on Zoom to identify themselves?
Yes, Mr. Miller? Can you unmic and identify yourself? Hello? Can we put him in waiting and then they request to come back?
What does that say move to? I can't see that.
Put it in waiting room. Yep, right there.
Okay.
All right. Minutes, regular select board meeting of July 7, 2026. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Here a second.
Second.
Motion made second. Any further discussion? Hear none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Public comment, and that's for anything that is not on the agenda here tonight. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Andre Labier. I'm one of the 3 candidates running for sheriff, and I just want to introduce myself. And I know this is going to sound pretty bold and maybe even arrogant, but I am by far the most qualified candidate based on my experience and credentials. I'm a retired chief inspector with the United States Marshal Service. I spent over half my career in supervisory command positions, first overseeing major cases, then moving on to run the organized crime and drug task force for the agency. And then I moved on to running New York, New Jersey regional task force, where I had a command of between 250 to almost 300 personnel, 6 offices: Manhattan, Central Islip, Newark, Camden, Atlantic City, and Trenton. I managed and procured $1 million budgets with the organized crime division. I tripled the size of that in the budget. Been extremely successful no matter where I've been. I've personally arrested and responsible for some of the most wanted people in the country. I ran large-scale enforcement operations in and out of the country using classified means approved by the Department of Justice. When I retired, I immediately went overseas as working for the Department of Justice with the 4 judicial police agencies in Bosnia. I rewrote law over there and was the only non-Bosnian citizen formally designated to oversee the implementation of those new laws. The laws that were rewritten were on judicial security and judicial police. I was made an honorary policeman when I was there. I was also a police instructor in Afghanistan. I had a good time doing that, that was fun. And after 4 years, my wife told me I had to come home. And when I came home, I worked for the Sheriff's Department here in Franklin County. I was the first school resource officer at BFA Fairfax. And when the new sheriff came on, he moved me to Richford, where I was assigned to the Richford schools. And I was assigned to patrol Richford. I've been extremely successful. I know I've been redundant everywhere in my career. I received the U.S. Attorney General's Distinguished Award, the Marshal Service Distinguished Award. The Department of Justice formally recognized me for my work with the Organized Crime and Drug Task Force. As a sheriff's deputy, I received Franklin County Distinguished Service Award. They established an award in my name for my community policing efforts. And I had to stop work 2 years ago due to cancer, which I beat. It's one of the other things I'm successful at. And when I did stop work, the school established a scholarship in my name, and the supervisory union before that had given me the Above and Beyond Award. I am clearly credentialed and a lot of experience in all areas of management. I don't have a lot to add to that. I just have one more thing to add. We all know about the kicks. And when the sheriff had a meeting before he took office and was sworn in to clear the air, he wanted to clear the air about those kicks. I was the only deputy that spoke up and looked him in the eye and said, "No, you were wrong." None of the other deputies spoke up. That's my bit.
Okay,
All right, thank you for your time.
thank you, good luck. Thanks for all your other service. Okay, law enforcement, you up, chief? How's the chief doing this evening?
Pretty well. How's everybody?
No complaints on my end.
All right. So for the month of June, we're looking at 172 incidents total in the town. The top 10 were 83 traffic stops, 25 directed patrols, 7 suspicious, 6 agency assists, 5 VIN inspections, 4 DUI, alcohol or drugs, and there was 2 actually alcohol and 2 drugs. 4 welfare checks, 3 motor vehicle complaints, 2 wanted persons, and 2 motorist assists. Out of those 83 traffic stops, there were 22 tickets issued and 78 warnings. There were 13 arrests total, representing 13 individuals and 15 charges. Resulting from those arrests, there were 12.5 additional service hours. And just to give you an update on the traffic enforcement, again, I know I touched on this last month, but as of this morning, we were at 981 traffic stops total between the village and the town. We are at 543 traffic stops in the town, so that's well in excess of our total for both the village and the town last year. So the guys are doing a great job with the traffic enforcement, and we are really leveraging Governor's Highway Safety detail funds in order to get those numbers.
Any particularly bad spots you notice?
I mean, not necessarily. There is. I mean, I'm hoping anecdotally you've noticed a slight difference in driving behavior, but obviously Bushy Road and McQuam Shore this time of year, and the typical middle road, all the kind of those more like flat open roads that people are using to get from point A to point B where they're really stepping on it. But again, the guys are out there taking enforcement action, so hopefully it's gonna make a difference. I do believe that enforcement does result in tamping down deviant operating behavior.
More people see blue lights, the better as far as driving their vehicles, I think, and you take McClung Shore, like you said, straight, flat, it's like
Yeah.
a speedway, you can hear them rev up and, yeah, some of
Yeah.
them are easily going 80 or 90 and can't be there all the time, we understand that, so.
Yeah.
When you get down there, we appreciate it, and it helps where I like Bushy Road. Yep.
But, I mean, are there any areas that the select board is specifically concerned with that I can have the guys focus on?
Can I mention an incident? I know there's no place that you can do anything out there but 78. Sunday night, I was at Devon's with my boys. A tractor trailer passed 3 cars while we're sitting there. That would have been disastrous.
Yeah.
But I know there's no place to pull people over out there though. But
Yeah, but
it
that's-
happens a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of the roads is that there are no shoulders, right? So when
Yeah,
we
there's
do pull
nothing
people
else.
over, you're kind of blocking the travel lane to some degree. So, but I will add that.
County Road's one that comes to mind, that's another straight one, and that's kind of a commuter's path that, don't know, how much they're out there, but that's one I would ask that they take a look at as well. The arrest, were that mostly from traffic stops or kind of a host?
It is a few different things. If we go back to
Okay, page like
the
29.
arrest, yeah, it's after the traffic stops. So it was 2, or I think 3 arrests on warrants. 2 DLS or criminal suspension of licenses. So those are obviously associated with traffic enforcement. There were 2 DUIs first offense. There were 2 negligent operations also associated with traffic enforcement, and then 2 driving under the influence drug specific. So the majority of those are associated with traffic enforcement.
Okay. Carl?
On the driving under the influence of drugs, you have to take some kind of special training, or you have to be certified in order to do that?
It does. So yeah.
All the officers in the department are?
No.
No.
No, so you have to be certified as a drug recognition expert. We have 1 officer who is certified as a drug recognition expert. I want to say there are roughly 40 in the whole state of Vermont. Law enforcement officers that are certified. It's a very difficult certification to obtain and then retain, because you have to do so many evaluations and you have to get those evaluations right. If you're way off in an evaluation, they'll actually pull your certification. So it's definitely a very difficult certification to get. But we're lucky to have 1 officer in the department who has that cert, and then the whole state relies on those officers, right? So if an officer, and we have already had that officer, I want to say he received that certification maybe 2 months ago. So he's done evaluations for, I believe, Milton and VSP and surrounding agencies also, which is covered out of the governor's highway safety detail funds also, those overtime when he gets called out on an overtime basis to do those evaluations, so.
If an officer here in Swan pulls somebody over and they're really concerned, they have to call him to do?
They have to call him and or another DRE that's
Oh, yeah.
available. They have an on-call schedule, so they'll call a DRE, and you need to have that evaluation. Otherwise, my understanding is the state's attorney's office is not moving forward with those cases, even though the standard is still impaired to the slightest degree. So when you get into the drugs, it's not as easy as DUI, where you've got the legal limit as an 08, and you're able to get that measurement very clearly. It involves getting usually a search warrant for the individual's blood, getting that blood drawn, and then getting those. It takes a little while for the return on what was in their blood, and then that has to line up with the officer's evaluation, what their assessment was. So, but again, it's impairment to the slightest degree. So it is something where you shouldn't necessarily have to have that if a regular untrained officer or DRE certified officer makes the observation that somebody is so impaired that they're driving, not able to drive appropriately, it should still be prosecuted that way. But my understanding is the state attorney's office doesn't like to really try those cases.
Overall, has the state seen an increase in that since the legalization of cannabis?
I don't know what the numbers are specific to cannabis, and cannabis is another tricky one because it is legal, and then where that level of impairment is, because I don't know that they really have a good number even as far as how much of it is in your blood, because it does tend to stay in your blood a little longer perhaps than even when the person's just under the effects of the high that they get from using cannabis. So that one's a little more difficult, I think, to actually prosecute. I know one of our officers stopped somebody recently, and then they were having that discussion, and the operator admitted, and the officer just didn't feel like they were borderline, and he told him that, like, listen, you're probably borderline right now as far as your operation goes, but felt like he just didn't have quite enough to prosecute a case for DUI drug cannabis. So it's definitely tricky, but what we're really seeing is a lot of fentanyl use and operation where people are nodding off behind the wheel, and that's extremely dangerous.
So it's not so much cannabis, it's the other harder drugs that are.
Yeah. I've been usually seeing, and I can tell you that when we get the blood results back, the tox back, we're seeing it's usually a combination of drugs. It's fentanyl, it's cocaine, and some other substances that are usually adulterated into that mix.
It's the same blood sample you're talking about?
Yes. Wow. Yes. It's multiple drugs in the blood.
Scary thought there on the road.
Can you go over your general process for like a DUI or a drug arrest in terms of like towing the car, then the detox process? What's your general process for that?
For a DUI arrest?
For a DUI in general.
In general, so I mean, all officers are trained in DUI, and again, we're making observations of operation where we feel like the person is operating their vehicle under the influence. That could be many different things. It could be driving, it could be any motor vehicle violation really, but a lot of times you'll get somebody who's drifting around, maybe their speed's altering erratically. The officer will make that stop. They're usually making observations on approach. They might smell the odor of intoxicants. The person's got watery eyes. They're not responding appropriately to questions. And so then the officer will have enough to actually ask them to come out of the car and engage in field sobriety exercises. So the officers are all trained in the field sobriety exercises. And now they're trained in advanced roadside impairment detection, or ARIDE training is what it's called. So we always use acronyms for these things, but the regular exercises are a horizontal gaze nystagmus, a walk and turn, and a one-leg stand. And then the officers are looking for clues associated with each of those exercises. And then the officers that are trained to a higher level will add certain exercises that they're trained to do to get even more of a feel and narrow down, especially when there's drug impairment involved, as to what the person may be under the influence of. So then they go through that process. If they feel like they have enough probable cause to actually make an arrest, usually they'll give the person the option of taking an Alka-Sensor test roadside. And the reality is if they blow under an 08, if the officer feels like it's alcohol impairment, they're really legal to drive to some degree. But again, it's even impaired to the slightest degree. So if their operation was so bad, even if they're under an 08, the officer can still make that arrest and go through the process. If the officer feels like they have enough, again, they need to meet that threshold of probable cause that the person is driving under the influence. They can make that arrest. They bring them back to the PD. They end up, if it's alcohol related, we run through basically a canned affidavit that's statewide. So we're going through questions with the individual, completing that affidavit, and then offering them to take the test when they can either, and we offer them to consult an attorney also before submitting to the test. If they refuse to take the test as part of obtaining a driver's license in the state of Vermont, that in and of itself is a crime. So it's DUI refusal. And then their license will be suspended automatically for 6 months due to refusal if the request is found reasonable. The officer gives them that chance. They then blow into the data master, which is a statewide. I mean, the Alka sensors are very accurate, but the data master is even more accurate. And so they'll get a good reading as far as blood alcohol or blood alcohol content goes out of the data master. The data master will not pick up drugs. So that's where that DRE comes in. And then if the officer feels like the person is under the influence of drugs, they will ask them to submit to a blood test. If that individual refuses, it becomes much more of a cumbersome and complex process, because then the officer has to write an affidavit for a search warrant for their blood. We then have to contact the state's attorney, explain to them what we have. The state's attorney then reviews it. If the state's attorney gives the okay, we contact the judge, and then the judge has to review that search warrant request for the individual's blood. Once the judge signs off on it, then we can transport the individual to the hospital, or actually AmCare now is able to also draw blood, and then have that individual's blood drawn. If the individual refuses, because we have run into that, they can get charged with contempt for refusing to submit to it after there's a search warrant and a DUI refusal, because they've refused to submit to a blood draw to get that evidence that we need to prosecute a DUI drug. So it's a little bit of a cumbersome process, but especially when it involves drug DUIs.
And I have a question, if I may. A DUI, okay, so you've gone into the data master and they're definitely over the limit. Do you still have to advise them of their right to go at their own expense to get a blood test?
Yes, we
Okay.
do. So, and we will offer them that kit
Yeah.
if they want to get their own independent blood drawn, so that they have the ability to do that. Yes.
Okay, because I was back when Lee and Bengosh and we had an incident with that, and the person said he didn't advise him of that, and it was the first time I ever saw somebody process for DUI in person,
Yeah.
and he advised him twice.
Yeah. So it is right in that canned affidavit. So the officer literally is going, section by section and reading it off word by word and checking those sections off. So they are advised of that
So he thought
as the
that-
officer goes
thought
through the
that to
affidavit.
court, but when he saw me walk into the courthouse, he all of a sudden had I remember now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite
so
a
that-
process at 1 a.m. trying to get all the approvals and everything, and
It
all of
is.
that dealing with a belligerent is, really appreciate what you guys go through.
It is. People don't understand how complex the system is in the state of Vermont, and it certainly is not easy, especially for law enforcement officers coming out of other states, and they're trained here, and
They already start rolling. along with
they
additional
struggle.
bureaucracy.
They struggle with the way the system works in Vermont.
Yeah. All right, anything else for the chief?
So there's been some complaints about people living off the rail trail between the wreck and the bridge. That's something you guys can take a. Nobody's been down there to check on it yet. Just people have been complaining to Nicole.
So in between the rail trail, was this the tent that we talked
There was
about
the tent, but
corresponding?
between the rail trail and the bridge on this side.
Yeah, the
On
wreck,
the east
the
side.
environment, and the
wrecks
bridge
are
on.
this, yeah.
Oh, on the other side.
There's a path down to the river, I think,
Yeah.
that I've seen people come up that path that kind of make me wonder whether.
And there's a path that we see numerous people heading down toward the river right through here, between the cemetery and the first house after the cemetery. On a daily basis. So.
Yeah, I mean, so there is the camping ordinance now,
Yeah.
so it can certainly be addressed. Any sort of camping on public property is a violation of ordinance.
Is that public property? Where they're going?
Depends where.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, on private property, right? People can do what
Yeah.
they want on private property. but
Or the landowner could
the
complain
landowner
too.
can, yes.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
can
gonna
depend
assist
on the
them.
right of way of
On the right of way.
where they are in relation to that right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that'd be good to patrol, to take a walk down there sometime, maybe a couple officers or something.
Yeah.
I know right where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about the there's been some when camping near the historical society,
Yeah,
like across
yeah, well,
that,
that
one. Yeah,
did.
they left their stuff. I heard that they left, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
So it's in between the wreck and the rail trail.
Yeah, from the wreck to the bridge over to the railroad depot.
Yeah.
Just
somewhere in
before
there.
you cross the bridge,
Yeah.
if you were walking toward the railroad depot, but before you cross the bridge on the right-hand side, I'm sure there's a path right there that,
The village owns a lot of that land over there.
Who?
The village.
Really?
well, yeah, they own the whole rec
Yeah,
area,
the
but this
whole
would be
rec
the,
area.
the right of way of
Half of
the,
that trail.
trail itself,
Yeah.
the rec path.
Yep, we could certainly look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else for the chief?
That's all I had.
Thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you.
Really like the, traffic that report you're getting us. That's a big difference from 2025.
Yep, and it's important in trying to address the driving behavior.
Yes. Very good.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right, page 25, I believe, is animal control. Just a few incidents listed there. Assuming the 4 June was taken care of, visiting
Yeah.
dog got loose, so, yeah. Not too much there, anybody got any questions or anything to follow up on?
No.
Alright, I'm gonna jump right into Old Town Business. Review of the 2024 audit with Mr. Chris, is it Goulet, the way you pronounce?
Goulet.
Goulet, okay. Now, I had a 50-50 on that, so,
There's an extra T on the end of it.
alright.
All right,
How's Chris doing this evening?
pretty good considering I'm on vacation this week and get to present my audit report.
What a deal during vacation, huh?
Well, it's gonna- Normally I play golf on Tuesday nights, but it looks like it's gonna be a rainy night anyway, so
Alright,
I lucked out.
there you go.
Anyways, if you look at the first thing is the financial statements. You have copies of those would be in the blue binder. You can see on page 1, start off with the opinion, which indicates that the statements were fairly presented and using the modified cash basis of accounting, which is what the town is still using. You know, we kind of tried to go to the modified accrual, and I indicated that that'd be a pretty long time, take a long time to get it converted to the GAAP basis and modified.
You did make another recommendation though, that we start to do some things different.
Well, that's if, you know, what it could do is it could potentially lose out on federal grants if you're looking at getting a lot of large federal grants. They could technically say, no, we wanna have a GAAP basis financial statements and show your fixed assets and they would be depreciated and all that. And then your loan, and basically your loans would be reported in the government-wide financial statements and a lot of that stuff, so. As you know, as long as it hasn't been an issue, I don't, you know, and there's a lot of, it's towns still in the state of Vermont that just use modified cash or cash basis.
Is it the other method much more labor intensive? Is that one of the issues from what I hear?
Yeah, it's, you know,
Especially to set it up.
setting it up, you know, you basically gotta do an inventory of all your town owned buildings,
Equipment and all that
equipment,
stuff.
even roads, sidewalks, everything. And it's a pretty large undertaking. And then the financial statements themselves are probably adding another 5 to 6 pages of footnote disclosures. And, you know, setting up, property taxes receivable, and all your accounts payable, and your loans are gonna be shown on the first 2 statements of the financial statements. It's a pretty big undertaking. And
Yeah, the interest-
it probably costs $20,000 more to,
To implement it.
to
But once it's implemented, it's just a matter of keeping up everything.
Right,
Isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still, to audit it, it still costs us about $20,000 more just to perform all the additional audit steps.
Just to do the audit steps?
Yeah,
Per year?
yeah,
Wow. That's significant. Again, and what I read, and it sounds like we're comfortable with the way we're doing business right now, but because it doesn't meet that standard, that Gatsby, is it?
Gatsby.
Gatsby, that, you know, some federal money could be an issue, but, you know, we're not one who deals with lots of federal money.
Right.
Nor do I really foresee too much, but yeah, it seems like a lot of extra money to spend and
Yeah.
really not gain a lot.
That's correct. And most small towns, basically, they run on on cash in, cash out, and that's what they really are looking at. And, but,
The biggest thing is we would probably, there'd probably be some grants that we couldn't apply for because we wouldn't qualify.
I would apply for them, just see if the worst case scenario is they deny you because of it. And then if, you know, if they start getting denied a lot of times for it, then that's when you probably wanna look at implementing it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be some fairly significant grant monies to offset the additional cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember,
Go ahead.
I remember reading through it, there was some feedback regarding the rec department. Can you
Yeah,
can you expand on that? I think it was in,
It might have been on one of the
Yeah.
findings, but I'll get to that afterwards.
Cool.
Okay, I'll go through this financial statements first. I'll go through it quickly because you get budget versus actuals
Right.
every meeting anyways to review, so
same as the town report.
yeah. So I'll just talk about the key questions I had, and a couple of the big changes. When we were reviewing it, they hadn't transferred what was the full amount to be approved to be raised by taxes for the Public Works Department. You know, it was like $424,000 more that should have been transferred that weren't transferred. So we ended up having to make a journal entry to put that into Public Works taxes, and there was a due fund that we added between the general fund and the public safety and public works fund.
Okay.
Okay, that's the big thing, so I just, what I would recommend is when Kathy's doing that journal entry is having someone else review it to make sure that everything that was approved to be raised for taxes for the highway department was actually transferred over, so.
That as a result, because in the highway fund or the highway tax.
They have public
They
safety
have
stuff.
public safety, they have.
Yeah, they have a few other things.
And dispatch now.
Yeah, so they got a few things that are going in and out, so that,
So that comes in, she's talking to me about setting up an account, does it go to public safety, you know?
it just goes into that one fund.
Just that one fund?
Yeah, and the other issue you have is you haven't created, you know, which is fine, you have it all in, a lot of it in the general fund is you have your reappraisals and digitized, you know, stuff that's been approved,
Right.
but you don't actually transfer the funds, like they do approve amounts to be raised by taxes for $25,000 for restoration or whatever. But it stays within the general fund. For our purposes, it's not a cash disbursement. It's basically the amounts collected for that purpose, and you transfer the cash from one cash account to the other cash account. So we don't show it as an expense currently until it's really expended. So it's kind of, you'll see that in the budget versus actual, you'll see a budget expense of 25,000, but actual expenditure of 0. Because we make an adjustment for that because it's really not expended. It's basically just cash that's been collected for that purpose.
Yeah, like reappraisal.
Yeah,
It just keeps building every year.
right. You know, if you had, some towns will set up a separate reappraisal fund. So then it shows, then you still go as a transfer of taxes collected as that expense. So, but because it's all in the general fund, it really doesn't show as an expenditure within the general fund until it's really expended.
Yeah, now we have a local option tax. That's gonna be sort of like that too.
I would probably set up that in a separate fund.
She's mentioned she's gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
But
need to,
all those special funds should be separate funds, shouldn't they?
They don't have to be. They like to have it, the fewer the funds, the better off you are if you can. I would just put like the main ones, like the public works, general fund, the library. You still have the economic development. But local option tax, I'd set it up in a separate fund to begin with, just.
Yeah, so it's gonna be in and out on that. The local option tax will get that payment from the state, but approximately 23% is gonna be sent out to the village, so. But if she's got questions, but she did say she's setting up a separate account for that.
And the other thing the big one that happened in 2024 was the ARPA funds. Since you retroactively approved them to be used for 2023 and 2024 expenditures, so we basically just transferred the fund, you'll see on page 7.
Transferred into the general fund.
Transfer to the general fund. Once you do that, that makes those funds to be able to use for whatever you want. So I have them as unassigned. You'll see on page 6.
Yeah.
That's included in the unassigned fund balance, so basically,
right,
all
and
those are.
we keep a
Oh,
separate
that makes
sheet for
sense.
Yeah, but
those
you-
expenditures.
You do, but you don't have to, because
Right.
right now they've already been used, so now you can use them for whatever you want. You can actually use those funds if you wanted to reduce your taxes.
Yeah. And it does make our balance look a little bit better than it really.
Yeah. So of that,
So somebody could take that the wrong way.
right, because
Because
you're showing
all
2.1
kinds of
million.
money.
Yeah,
You're showing 2.1 million,
Yeah.
and you could, if you want to, it's not more, so I'm showing restricted, on page 6, you'll see I have restricted fund balances and committed fund balances. But there's also assign are basically select board approved
Yeah.
amounts. If it's, the committed is more voter approved. And then restricted is also a more restricted voter type of approved funds, but if you want to assign part of that ARPA funds for other particular purposes, if you do approve those, then we could show assigned fund balances of those funds.
yep,
Because right now we're showing 1.1 million unassigned, of which 1.1 million is ARPA funds.
yeah. I think-
Formally known as our.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, that's a 2024.
That's 2024,
Yeah, and
so-
that's dropped.
Okay. And any other questions on the financials? Then how I noticed you see on page 9, we got budgets versus actuals, summary totals. And when I was reviewing it, the actual was $456,000 less than what budgeted was, so I knew that something hadn't been transferred at that point in time, so I want to verify with Kathy, and that was the case.
That's where you were talking about the highway?
Yeah, I think it was probably more the public safety funds that weren't accounted for properly.
Cause I see on the highway, it shows a balance of 348, public safety of 69. Oh, I'm on page 9, I've been looking at something wrong, but.
Page 93. Where's that? I don't see a 348 on the.
Highway, cash disbursements, page 9.
Oh, okay. There was a variance of 419,000.
Right,
which
when I
I think they had
wrote
budgeted some funds to be expended and they didn't expend all of those. And then you see on page 12, those are called fiduciary funds, which are pretty much the cemetery trust funds, And then what we call is custodial fund, basically the taxes that you collect on behalf of the school and transfer to the school, we gotta show them the amounts basically going in and out.
Yeah, now that I think of it, the highway is probably what we carry over for the vehicle, and we spent that in 2025 after we got delivery. And we dropped that significantly.
Right, I think that's the big budget versus actual
Right.
difference. It was,
Yeah.
it hadn't came in yet and you hadn't
Right.
dispersed it yet, yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as footnote disclosures from like page 14 on to page 27, you basically, page 19, they have the cash and then custodial credit risk is basically most of your cash deposits are insured. They'll put them in a different type of account where they'll insure more than the $250,000. They'll insure a big amount, and then, but some of them still are. I think those are the ARPA funds, since it's in the exact same bank, and they weren't listed as one of the accounts. Now they've probably increased that now, since now it's in the operating fund. So they probably increased the insured balances.
Yeah, that's something we'd wanna make sure took place, right? In
Right,
case the bank ever
right.
fails, yeah, I'm reading that and.
Yeah, so just make sure that they've updated their FDIC insurance in those, government insured accounts. And that,
We had a real small comment on page 13. Still talks about a youth center. It's one of the, I mean, I don't know why we'd even carry that. It's got the town of Swanton School District, Swanton Cemetery Commission Teen Center.
those
Which
are,
isn't even-
those are saying, well, we're not including them in the report.
Right, but there's even an entity teen center anymore that I'm aware of, so
So
that's
like-
small item, but next year when you're doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'll put a note here.
And, well, the town of Swanton School District is no longer in existence. It was merged into the Missisquoi Valley School District, so there is no more town of Swanton School District.
Okay, so,
Yeah, again, it's just small,
there,
Yeah,
small
yeah.
stuff, but while we're looking at this. And that principal debt forgiveness, that was the loan a couple of years ago, and I know the additional $50,000 you gave back in Oh,
2025.
Leader evaporator.
Yeah,
issue.
yeah, so we'll take that away. And as of 2024, you only had one loan outstanding for 241,684.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Kathy and see what kind of interest rate we're paying on that, whether it'd be to our advantage to pay that off and save the 30,000, or whether it's at such a low rate when we did it.
4.4, isn't it?
Pretty large, and
4%.
Yeah.
4%.
That's just good right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but are we making 4% on our money? And I don't think we are. I thought it was like 285 or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, we'll check into that.
And then, starting on page 21, no 8 is your Beamer's municipal retirement system. That's just something that we just need to disclose, and if it was a GASB statement, that would be reported on the actual financial statements, and it really throw them way out of whack. It'll show like you have a net pension liability of $517,000.
Yeah, I was a
based
little
on that.
confused when I looked at that,
So,
but we don't, right?
hopefully it'll be corrected within a few more years, I'm sure after.
Or
It
we do.
it keeps going,
You're saying we do have that liability?
well, not, You could potentially,
If the state can't come up with it,
right.
we're on the hook.
And a lot of your employees that are part of it, if they're, if they, if everyone's starting to draw on it at the same time and they find out that they gotta come up with more, and then what they end up doing is they keep adjusting the pension liability rates to try to account for it. And there isn't really much else. The budget for the detailed budget versus actual, I won't need to go through that because you have those reviewed and they're in the town report. As far as finding the management letters, when we were reviewing the recreation fund bank reconciliation, we looked like it only had been reconciled at year end. So we would highly suggest trying to get that reconciled monthly.
I was told that is in practice now, that they are
Yes.
reconciling it, monthly.
And the prior year comments are just, we still find them a little bit because when we reported them last year, it was already into the following year, so it's pretty much getting a lot of stuff gets crossed. I know some of them, the payroll liability is getting corrected, and then the transfer of the highway taxes. I discussed that with Kathy, and she agreed with it. And the financial reporting model, it's just and the fraud risk assessment, that's just a standard one, comment that we're gonna make.
Well, down at the bottom, we recommend that the town of Swanton, Vermont meet with a specialist to determine the best way to start accounting for all its fixed assets and the allocation of debt and interest, even though we don't have a lot of that.
Right.
I mean, what specifically, are you saying that we just try to get things organized or a little bit better than what we do now? Of course, with the local option tax and we're looking at capital, budgets, I suppose it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? To start doing that?
Well, like I said, the one caveat was for non-GAAP would be you could be denied receiving a federal grant if you have a non-GAAP financial statement. You could be, but you may not be. There's a state like state of Ohio, they make all their towns be cash basis. And I'm sure they're not denying every town in the state of Ohio federal funds because of that.
Right.
And I did have an additional required report that I did send to Brian, but I told him I was gonna send him copies, but I don't think I ever did send him the copies, did I?
I don't think so.
Basically, that's what we call like internal control reports and
Yeah.
whether there's any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. And the material weaknesses is one of them is that we prepare the financial statements. Technically, the town's supposed to prepare the financial statements, but there's very few towns that are able to do that because they don't have the real expertise to do it. And it's just a comment that we gotta come up, that we do, and the response is always that they rely on us to prepare the reports. We send Kathy the report and Brian to review and see if they approve it, and if they make us aware of what they question about it. But that's a comment that we had, and I did have the calculation of the highway property taxes. The amount to be transferred wasn't properly transferred, so that could affect your calculation of the highway taxes the following year too, when you go to do that calculation, so.
And that's just different than what we have here.
I don't know, I sent Brian a copy of it, and I was supposed to send him the hard copies of it,
You
but
got the date of that?
There were
Is
two
it-
letters dated the same
yeah,
day.
this is a third one.
Yeah, I don't think we have that. I remember hearing that same thing.
Okay,
And last year, I think, talking about one of those
Yeah.
issues.
yeah, so you can have that, that's, I know I sent it to Brian.
All right, if you could, Brian.
Yeah.
Make copies and just send it to everybody so we can see it.
Yeah. And we hope to start, I know Kathy's going on a long earned vacation, I think in August.
Again.
No, she's on
She's
vacation.
on now, so she's gonna be back in,
Actually, back Monday.
yeah, so she told us that she wanted to wait until after,
Primary election.
okay. And then we'll, start it up in probably third week in August, and we hope to have a quicker turnaround. We'll have a quicker turnaround this year, and hope to have,
On 2020.
you know, a draft by, and my goal is to have it by the end of September.
Oh, nice.
It should be a quick turnaround, normally it's, if we get in, we got enough staff to do it now, and like I know I told Brian before, I'm be retiring at the end of next year, and we don't have another partner that has chosen to pursue doing governmental audits, so next year would be our last, if you want to keep us on for 2026 audit, that'd be our last year that we'd be able to perform it, unless I have another partner that decides that they want to pursue governmental audits.
Wow. Okay.
It's not an easy area, and you have to do 80 hours of continuing education every 2 years, so it's,
Wow.
and then even all the staff have to do it too, that are involved in it, so it's,
They don't make it easy.
no,
Earl, anything else?
No, but overall, it's a good audit for the
yeah,
town.
yeah, we always enjoy
Yeah.
your staff, and they're very helpful and very quick to respond. We'll send her a to-do list by email, and she plugs away at each one of them, and she sends it to us, and we pretty much can do most of it remotely. We just come here for a day or two just to do the final testing.
One thing that just popped in mind, I'm curious about, I think last year there was the library and the cemetery commission both in the report. Is there any reason why that might not be the case this year?
They both.
But at least I remember, I might be wrong. I might be mistaken. I'm trying to remember from last year.
Well, I know the library, you're
They're their own entity, right? That's
Right.
what you were stating in here.
Yeah, they are their own entity.
Right.
We give them a certain amount of money, but they mix that with some other money and they do their own.
so we report just a small amount on library in our report.
Right.
Okay.
Same thing with the
The cemetery.
cemetery commission, you know, you have your activity for the cemetery, but the cemetery commission is their own entity.
Oh, good.
Good to go.
Oh, I'm set.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Have a good one.
Next item of business is the town office building insulation and heating system project. Laz, how we doing?
We're doing okay. I just wanted to clarify scope of work.
Well, I think that's a good thing, to clarify something like that.
Well, what you guys have in mind for scope of work. Maybe I should have said it like that. You're not gonna use the second floor. So we're gonna, let me
As
step
much
back.
as much as I would like to,
Yeah.
and we haven't found the report, but when I got on this board in 2012 timeframe, we hired some people to come in and look. And
Yeah.
they say structurally, you just can't go up and start using that. That to meet the, so whatever it is per square foot, live load, you know, that you need, they would have to put in some type of extra beams and stuff and run them down to the ground, and there was gonna be some big bucks.
Do you remember who did that?
I do not.
There was an assessment done way back. Originally, it was gonna be remodeled for the superintendent's office.
That's right, it was. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the structural.
Yeah, no, it was a huge price tag, and
Yeah.
so we said, we're not even going there.
Yep.
But, so far, no one's found the report, right?
We blew everything
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What,
So-
what I would ask that we
Could
do
look
is to look in the
upstairs.
minutes.
Look up
I think if you look in the minutes,
There's
we
a
might be
lot
able
of
to
stuff
find the name.
upstairs.
We might be able to find the name of the firm that did it, and then we can go to them, and they probably have it in their records, but
Yeah.
in the minutes, I think you'd find something if we search them.
So,
To answer that question, at this stage, unless the board disagrees, we're not looking to put big money
We're
into
not looking
upstairs.
to remodel the upstairs, but then
Right.
again, we don't know what the future's gonna hold.
right. So, I'm gonna sort of work my way from the top down. So, if you're not using the second floor, then we should insulate the second floor. So
So-
that this cap is insulated. We have to deal with the stair opening. Because if you don't do something, either you put a cover on it that you can remove to get
Hinge up or
access
something,
and
yeah.
it's insulated, or you insulate the walls coming down to this, coming down and following the stair. But either way, we gotta do something. Then my understanding is the first floor, we're gonna insulate the exterior walls.
I mean, that was a recommendation.
Yeah,
right,
no,
that's
no.
coming,
Not-
yes.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Yeah.
It was the first time we've even, and that was their recommendation. And then the other piece is to insulate the basement walls. So we have a nice, clean thermal envelope.
Yeah.
Okay? And then look at some weather stripping of the exterior doors as well as the door that goes up to the second floor to make sure they don't leak, they're nice and tight. And then there's no window work because they just recommended doing the second floor windows. These are fairly new, so we can leave them alone. And the
Can I
other,
just, on that
absolutely.
question, isn't there some air infiltration going on around the windows, or would that be taken care of, we think, by insulating the walls?
His thermal imaging did show some around the
leakage
window.
around the
leakage
windows,
around-
yeah.
And I didn't know if it was the window itself, or just,
No,
you know, with
it's-
that cavity.
It's around the,
Yeah, so I think part of that insulation you're talking about
Right.
might take care of that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure yet how we're gonna attack the existing walls.
That's, yeah.
Because they're all nice and finished.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't wanna rip everything out, but anyways, that's for later discussion. And the other piece we're gonna do is replace the boiler, and it's gonna be a boiler just for the first floor, not the second floor.
Makes sense to me. I like the
Yeah.
idea that if we cut down on the size
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
thermal
yeah, yeah,
envelope,
yeah, yep, Yep.
then we're saving money and it just
Right.
makes sense.
right.
Is that gonna have a negative effect on the upstairs, or will it be fine with no heat?
Buildings don't like to be cold,
Yeah, I
but
know.
they've been cold for, this one's been cold for a long time, but buildings don't like to be cold, but the second floor's been cold now for how long?
Wouldn't it be like a cold attic if it's got some ventilation and stuff?
Yeah, but does it have enough ventilation?
Right.
And are we gonna have to do some
Or-
ventilation?
Right, that's what I think part of it.
My thinking is that we would put down 2 inches of spray foam on the floor. And that would do your ceiling, so there's no moisture going up through the floor. And then we cap it with blown-in insulation. So in theory, it's all sealed.
Vapor barrier.
Yeah, the vapor barrier and the moisture's going up, so it means you need less ventilation.
So you're gonna put that directly on top of the floor up there,
Directly on
and then
top
you're
of
gonna
the
put
floor.
blown-in insulation on top of that, so you won't really be able to access that for what stuff we got up there now then. You've got
There's a
files,
lot of stuff up there.
yeah, there is,
I didn't know, I mean,
there's
There's a lot of stuff up there.
so like files and all that kind of
Files
thing?
and
File
boxes
cabinets?
and
Well,
flags.
is there
and-
file cabinets?
unused file cabinets, and there's
The one whole room
175
is
flags up there.
full of files from the school district.
There's still files from the school district.
I mean,
There's
you
a
can
lot
find
of
it,
old zoning stuff up there.
you'd have
So we
some,
got some loads on the floor that not supposed to have some loads
Oh,
on
it's
it.
a lot,
Yeah.
a lot lighter than it was. The summer before I came here, my understanding is they took out like 10 tons, that's around there.
Oh, I
Stuff
have no-
Really?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was my plan, so
Yeah.
that we would cap it we'd cap that ceiling.
Well, I'm just, because I haven't been up there for a while, but the
didn't
last
even know
time
this.
I
didn't
knew
even
there
know
was
this.
at least in this one side here, there's quite a bit of stuff now. I mean,
And the reason-
we can find an alternative, I guess we'll have to look for an alternative.
Well, the reason I was thinking that is only because I didn't want to tear down these nice ceilings.
Right,
They're
Yeah.
finished. Up there,
Right.
it's not
Right.
finished. You're not gonna use it. And I guess if we insulate the basement, can you move those files down to the
That's
basement?
what I'm wondering, if we're gonna insulate the basement.
Move them down to the
put some-
basement. Basement's pretty dry. You can put them up on pallets. We could add a dehumidifier if we needed it. But
It's a pretty scary dungeon down there.
well, it's not that bad.
But
As long as they're
Think of
not
us a
talking,
light.
as long as they're not talking to you when you're down there, it's okay, but I think that's one thing we gotta look at and see if we can do, like the flags could go up to the town garage if we had to.
Yeah.
Right up on that mezzanine, I'm sure we could find space for that.
Yep.
But
If we're desperate, we could rent storage, but that is another expense.
Plenty of them up there.
what's that?
They have plenty of them up there.
Yeah, I think we could take a look at what's really up there in the school district,
The
have
school
them
Take
get
their own
their
stuff.
stuff. and-
Take it. I mean, what I see in the school district is old hot lunch records. I mean,
There's a lot of old
that
payroll and
people-
stuff up there, but they can take care of it. It's theirs.
Yeah, I would take that as a note now to start that conversation with them.
Hot lunch records.
So this was just my initial thoughts.
Yep.
You know, I haven't been in the building. I mean, I saw the report. I want to make sure we do the exterior walls right. And I told Brian that we may have to get what's his name, Bangladesh, isn't it? The contractor we use at the library,
No, Menard.
Menard. Ask him to core some holes so we can see what's
See.
actually in there.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna bid this, correct? Or is it gonna, or are we gonna, like we did the library, we hired an insulator.
Yeah.
So do you wanna do that, or do you actually wanna bid it and get bid numbers? Cause that's, depends on our approach. So that's my next question, do you wanna bid this? The boiler we could do actually pretty easily, but I would like to do everything all at once if we're gonna do it, and just have one person, but I wanna get feedback from you guys, how you wanna approach this.
you're thinking of maybe one contractor and he takes care of all the subs and all.
That was my thinking because,
Yeah.
you know, let's say we do dense pack in the exterior walls. The insulator will core the holes, he's not gonna fix the holes.
Right.
And you're gonna need a GC, so even if you put it in his contract, he's gonna say, I'm not doing it, I don't do that, that's not our forte. So if we gotta then hire someone separate to do that, why don't we put it all together and make it one package? But then again, do we wanna bid it, do we wanna negotiate it, I mean, that's just, it's more work one way or the other, it depends.
Does that include, the basement too, if we were gonna bid this out for one contractor to oversee
I would do everything, I
everything?
would do everything.
What's your recommendation bid versus going with one contractor?
I think he was good at the library. He helped us a lot. I don't know if we could get him. I don't know if we could hire him to sort of do the general contracting and then get big prices from the insulators, although we got a good number from the insulator.
Yeah,
And we verified it and got another price to make sure we got a good number and all that. I guess I like to give it some thought. I don't have an answer for you.
I'm leaning a little bit toward the bid. I
Yep,
know it's a little more painful, but I'm leaning a little.
No, I get it completely.
yeah, because this is gonna be a fairly good sized
And we
project,
would probably get some,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's in our policy,
Yeah.
the policies. we have.
Yeah, and that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Really, we're just here having a
Yeah, over
discussion.
$25,000, yeah.
to
Okay,
talk
along
about
those
stuff.
lines, when you're gonna do the basement, you're gonna do the insulation inside, not outside.
Inside, I would do it outside. Well, sorry, I would do it. First of all, I'd get rid of the basement windows and I'd break them up.
Yeah.
Insulate it on the inside and bring it up to the underside of the floor. The floor sheeting.
Okay, are
And that
you,
way we can have a thermal connection with the wall, so it's continuous.
we had to repoint them stones down there,
Yep.
not that long ago.
Yep,
There's no foot and drain on this. And it was looked at by Cross Consulting Engineer.
Yeah.
And they said, you know, of course, obviously they're gonna recommend a foot and drain in, especially
Right.
a foundation like this, and it all makes sense, you can't argue that.
Yeah.
But we had no outlet without putting a pump in, to pump into the stormwater. But the village is gonna be making changes down here, and part of it is stormwater too, because they've had problems on Church Street. And I remember when Reggie was in there, you know, that they're probably gonna end up being able to work it. You know, so it does gravity drain if we wanted to put a footing, you know, drainage around the footing, yep,
On the inside.
yeah, on the outside,
Oh, on the outside.
on the
Are
outside,
you
so.
gonna excavate all that and do it on the outside?
Well, I don't know, one of the things you look at this, and you've seen it at the library too, you know, you got quite a bit of roof space. You know, a lot of water coming down there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
right against that foundation.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not like it's a poured foundation.
No, it's stone, but when we went down there, it was fairly dry.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it wet in the spring?
Not as much as it was before.
After
they
you
did the
repointed.
repointing,
But
yeah.
there still is some
There'd be
dampness.
dampness, there's no puddles of water.
No, do we need ice guards and gutters up there to?
Well, I asked that when I first got here, and a member of the select board who was a contractor said there's nothing to anchor them to up there. The way the building was built, I'm not sure, I'm not a contractor.
Gutters, you mean?
Well, no, the gutters,
Gutters are
the
there.
gutters,
We
but
got
I'm
gutters
talking
up there.
snow guards, the snow guards are.
Dumps right down next to the
Yeah.
foundation, so
Yeah,
that,
and that's,
Yep. That's something we can look at. I mean,
and I'm just thinking long term, if
Yeah,
we're
no,
gonna,
no, I
especially
get it.
now, if you're gonna go down there and insulate, that makes sense. But then if all of a sudden we get some water coming in there
Oh,
later
right.
on, then, you know, I mean, we're just gonna be
Yeah.
spending money all over again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it might be cheaper in the long run just to do it right.
yep.
I
For sure it will be, I know
Yeah.
that.
I mean, don't they do covered interior drains as well?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could get in, yeah, anyway, we can look
Yeah.
at the couple, the options,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let us, I mean, like I said, we haven't even come in here and looked. All I read was Vermont Gas's
Right.
recommendation.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I like to come around, look, get my head wrap around it and see. And we may see other stuff. I don't know.
Take a good look and let us know, 'cause it may not just be the insulation, you may see something
Right.
else that needs addressing. and
Right.
It's
Right.
time to get it done and. we'll
Right.
get this-
Insulating
also-
the base.
if we're gonna do the, insulation job up there, we find an alternative for storage and stuff, which I think can be done. I don't know if there's any electrical stuff up there, we wanna make sure we've got that all cleaned
Well,
up too.
in the report,
before-
it did say there was knob and tube.
Yeah,
Which
the old
is-
ones, they're probably all disconnected.
It's been certified.
It's
by
all
the electrician
disconnected.
and-
There's nothing up there. That's good. That's good.
And would there be any need for us to have to go up there? That would be we'd wanna minimize the need to ever have to go up there.
Well, but if if you have to go up there for whatever reason, after the work's done, as long as you fluff and rake this blown-in
After
insulation
you're
back,
here.
so it's fluffy. It really needs to be fluffy. If it gets tramped down, it's our value isn't as good. So you can go up there, and if you come out, just a rake and just fluff it back up, and you're fine. Just because we do it on the floor doesn't mean you can never go up there.
But still minimizing the need to go up there.
Ideally,
is,
yes.
You know, that would have to be
Yeah.
part of it.
Ideally, but I mean, if you were to insulate the second floor in the attic and you're not gonna use it, then you're heating that volume and you're not using it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense,
No.
so.
That's a question on the basement, back in
Yep.
the basement, insulating basement. This part of the building is a crawl space, so how are you gonna blow in insulation there? Or you,
I don't know, I haven't seen it, I've only been in this back piece.
I mean, when I say crawl space,
Can you crawl in it?
no,
You can't crawl in it at all.
very thin person. would have a tough time.
They-
They had to crawl in for that asbestos removal.
Where's it start about?
Starts right here
And gets worse.
Gets worse, yeah. Definitely confined entry.
I don't know, I'd have to look and see. And is it a dirt floor or concrete?
Dirt.
Dirt.
Dirt. It doesn't have a vapor barrier down?
No.
I doubt it.
No.
We'd wanna
No,
get,
'cause we pulled up they had to pull up the floor when we had the leak
Yeah.
here.
we wanna get some kind of vapor barrier down on that winter at least, you know, and. But I'll look at it and see, I just
Oh, it's a
didn't know
treat.
about this piece.
It's a
but-
treat. It'll be a real treat.
We'll have to look at that, cause you know, that floor is gonna, I'm sure that first floor is cold.
Yeah.
And what's the point of doing stuff when you have a big hole?
Yeah.
You just, the cold's coming in anyway, so. Okay, we will look at it, but it really was just an initial talk
Yep.
to see what you guys were thinking and all that, and make sure we're all on the same page, and then, you know, we can start looking at stuff. I can't touch this till probably this fall, just so you guys know. And we probably couldn't get anyone to do it this summer anyways, cause right now we're end of July and people are just booked.
Well, we might be better off to, you know, spend the time.
Yeah,
make
I think
sure-
timing wise, it'd be better if we could go out October, November bid or something like that. There's some inside work that can be, most of it will be inside work, so it could be done during the winter when they don't have a lot of work, so.
Yeah.
But it was just,
No, it's good questions and good starting point.
and I'm sure there'll be others, but I just wanted to just have an initial discussion, that's all.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I think that's all I really had, just to get an idea.
Anything else, Ron?
Nope.
I'm good. Carl?
Yeah, you're just gonna continue to work on it then, and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, I'll come up, you know, at some point I'll come up with a scope of work. And I'll review and say, this is what we recommend doing, you know, this is what we found in the walls, and this is what we think is the best solution for what you do. Keep it in mind that we've got finished stuff here, and because I really don't wanna tear out the walls if we don't have to.
Do we know who did the work?
Andy Ledoux.
Andy Ledoux.
I don't know if we have any records at all, but
We go
at this point, probably exploring and seeing what's really here is what needs to be
Yeah,
done.
I mean, they in the report, they showed a couple exterior walls but they were upstairs, I think.
Yeah,
Cause
I
they
think
showed beadboard and
Also
all that.
upstairs, I'm trying to think if parts of that seem to be Bloom Construction.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with some of that, but that was one of the reasons I thought about capping the floors. We could cap it,
Cap it.
and if we're doing the exterior walls, we're going up basically to the top of the floor or
Yeah.
wherever underside of the floor. So even if it's balloon, we're stopping that
Stopping
air
it.
from
Right.
going up and
Yeah.
down. So I think we would be okay. But we'll find out. You know, we'll look into it and see.
Yeah, and we're gonna, on our end, go after that work that was done, cause we had an estimate to actually
Well-
use the second floor, so
Right.
we should be able to get that info.
Wasn't there? And I'm going from memory, but wasn't there a bond vote that failed?
No, it passed and they got revoted
And then it got
down.
revoted, and then it failed, and then they did it sort of
Yeah.
piecemeal.
Well, they
here
just,
and
they
there.
left the second floor out.
Alone, right.
Alone.
But that, subsequent to that is when we had the board that I was on,
Yeah, yeah.
in that time frame, we had somebody come in here and take a good look at that, and gave us the report on the structural
Okay.
loading for up there, and so we'll,
What year was that, you think? Roughly.
2012, 2020.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it was somewhere
Somewhere.
in the earlier those years, but that was here, that 8-year block, and I don't remember.
But actually, Laz, you did the original design for that project.
We did the original scope.
Yeah, but nobody looked at
I don't think we looked at the second floor. I
I
think.
don't know if you've got any records of what you did when
Well,
you,
I was gonna call Cross to see because if there was structural, I would have called them. So I was gonna call Cross and ask them, do you have anything on Swanton Town?
yeah,
And see. But I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah,
I just
right.
don't remember. But we could have done it.
no, I don't
So
remember
long
any
ago.
discussion about a structural issue at that,
Yeah.
when this was put, when that original
Yeah.
proposal was put together.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Appreciate all that you
Appreciate
do
it.
for
Yep.
us.
Thank you.
Not
you.
at all. And you got the stuff on the snowbird?
Yes, thank you, and that's just what we need, and I'll get that info and
Yep.
get that going, that entrance right there, we get some pretty good,
Snow
ice and snow
falling.
up there.
Well, you shouldn't get any ice. Are you getting ice still?
Yes,
Really?
yeah.
Well, I think
No, it was
On
ice.
that lower roof?
On the, if you're looking at the front of it, it's on the right-hand side. Just the right-hand side. The left-hand side didn't have any, but there was a big, 2 to 3 inch.
So if we're looking at that side entrance on First Street.
Right.
On the right-hand
On
side?
the right-hand side walking in.
There's pictures of it somewhere. 'cause
Yeah,
Abby
Kevin
sent
took
them.
pictures of it. Cause he had to go over and knock it down.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, that kind of, I thought it was odd too, why it would be just that one.
Cause I know I drove by a couple times when there was snow and I didn't see any ice, so I said, oh, it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can have him send me the pictures,
They're somewhere because Abby emailed them to and they were on the weekend.
cause we really tried to seal that ceiling, cause that
Yeah.
ceiling really didn't have anything in there, we had spray foam and everything.
Oh yeah, there's a tile that's moved and you can see the foam right up on the
Yeah.
underside there.
So somewhere it's leaking somewhere.
Somewhere there must be some air probably getting in, but
But
Or
we
is,
did
or is it one of those deals where the sun's melting some of that snow
And-
and it's cold enough?
and that could be it
That's-
too.
that's what
Because
I
we did
think's
a
happening.
blower
Yeah.
door test and there
Yeah.
was very little leakage in that entry piece.
And that, yeah.
well, you
Is
get the
that the
pictures,
only-
you
yeah.
can see it, and
Yep.
it might be caused by the snow.
So was there any other ice anywhere or was that the only
No,
piece?
no.
Everything
Yeah,
else was
okay.
okay?
Very little icing around the high part, really small
yeah,
ice goes less than that
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get
That's just-
that, you
you're gonna
can't,
get-
yeah,
it's gonna be,
Right.
the roof gets
Yeah.
hit the sun, you
Right,
get a little
right,
melt and it
right.
freezes, but, okay. Yeah, please send me, I'll take a look at it and see.
But definitely a big improvement over what it was
Yeah.
before, and apparently the heating worked a lot better too.
Excellent, that's good to hear.
A success story.
Yeah, and, those guys with the snow guards, they're really good. They're
Yeah.
a good company, so. The only concern I have, I don't know if we're gonna have enough.
I think that's over an inch high there.
Is it
whatever
over
it's
an
at.
inch?
Yeah, that's-
I only had a photo to look at, I said, but as long as it's something that it can grab,
Right.
it'll be okay.
Yeah, they have quite a collection of different, for different roof,
They have some
Things.
great stuff, but they're really good stuff, and you gotta go with the bars,
right.
because that's really works really well.
Well, that's what I figured asking
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
have some experience
Yeah.
with it, so.
That's what I
especially-
use all the time. so.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, lad.
Next item of business, 6C Hazard Road Public Hearing Date Correction.
What happened, when I went to do the notification of the public hearing, I looked back at the minutes and you never took a vote to have the public hearing. So we need to actually have a motion to warn a public hearing for the purposes of reclassifying the hazard road. And so now that would be held, the public hearing would be held on September 1st.
I'll make the motion that we have a public hearing, is that what the motion's for, what's the
Yes,
motion?
site visit and public.
Site visit, public hearing,
To reclassify Hazard
to
Road.
reclassify hazard road.
Here, second?
Second.
Yeah, September 1st
September 1st, okay.
at 5 PM.
And I assume that's our first meeting of the month.
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Motion's been made and seconded to have a public hearing on the Hazard Road reclassification for September 1st at 5 o'clock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Land swap.
Okay, well, last week I got a letter or email from our attorney who has informed me that Tim Hurlbert's office, who's representing the school district, has sent out their documents to be reviewed by the school district. So as soon as they get those back, which we hope will be sometime this week, with any comments or any corrections that might be needed, then we should be proceeding to schedule a closing, finally. So that's where we are.
So still moving.
Still
Okay.
moving.
It was quite a while, wasn't nothing?
2 years ago, we went up to the school and
Yeah.
talked to- and you were working it before that. Vote on discontinuation of Old Shoalin Road, it's in page 28 of our packet.
Right, which is a resolution, if you would, that a vote would be taken to discontinue that. The only thing that we still have not been able to positively identify, I mean, Mrs. Montang had stated that they owned the road and that she had proof of that, but all she brought in was the tax map. Those tax maps are not accurate. She says she had a survey that showed where they owned it, and she was gonna get back to us. We've not received that. What, I did some title search on that property, and I hit a dead end in 1913. I couldn't go back any further, and because it wasn't properly recorded, it wasn't noted in the deed where they got it from. So, but I think we can do this, and then we'll just have to keep following up to try to determine who that owner is, and we may end up having to get it surveyed. I would hope not, but
Well, if the Montaignes have already surveyed it,
yeah, she needs.
but
to
she
find
hasn't
the
brought that
No,
survey in.
No, she needs to find it and bring it in, and it.
I can call her again.
Yeah, and I couldn't find any survey here
Yeah,
recorded. We don't know.
Hopefully she knows who did it. And
Yeah, and so if you wanna make a motion on this, we can do that and get that process.
so we have basically signed this tonight, but we're not sure who's for sure
Yeah,
that's
we're gonna-
going to.
We're gonna have to,
So we're in a little bit of a quagmire if something happens.
I think we should wait till we
If you
know
wanna
for sure
wait,
who
okay,
owns what and
that's-
wait it before we.
that we can do that too.
And I don't see any reason to continue as a trail by looking at it. It's
No,
just-
this isn't the trail,
No.
this is discontinuing,
Well, yeah, discontinuing, yeah, because I know there was discussion about a trail.
right,
When you discontinue, it reverts back to the previous landowner, right?
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, but there was discussion about a trail, and I just looking at the
Well, that
intersection,
was,
that book,
guy from,
Yeah.
yeah.
TAC, had said
that,
that.
yeah, I just see no reason by looking at it.
Well, it'd be kind of a trail to nowhere.
Yeah, it'd be a trail to nowhere.
What's your thoughts?
Well, you know, if we're not doing a trail, we got, I don't know if it's gonna be, it might be a quagmire, but I guess you're concerned about liability, is that what you're concerned about, Ron? That we don't know who owns it, and after we close the road, or does the town still have liability if they give up a road? Even if we don't know who owns
We
it?
don't own it, that's a good point, I don't know.
Yeah, I would almost assume it's not town property anymore.
Right, we could, you know, you can
If
hold
it
off
ever
on-
was.
right, you can hold off on this until we get the further information. I mean,
Okay.
We've met certainly the minimum time
Yeah.
requirement, but we don't, you know, as we're trying to gather who owns it.
Well, I don't know, I guess it's not a big deal if we wait till the next meeting and see what you come up
Right.
with.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
one meeting's not gonna really
So-
change anything, and
Okay.
hopefully they can remember who did the
Yep.
survey.
That's fine.
Yep.
We'll
Okay.
keep on it.
Under old business, and I didn't, have this in agenda review, and so nothing to take action on, but the apartment by the bridge, the white building. We talked about it
Yeah,
last
and I
meeting.
did let Susie know it needed some
Okay, if
looking at,
you could follow up and see if
Yeah.
she's taken a look at that yet.
we'll do.
Okay. Highway. Vehicles, the loader, they're finishing up, had a contractor working on changing the, bushings and pins where it articulates. That work's about complete, should have it back here in a day or two. Trucks are all working, there is one clutch that Kevin wants to change before the winter, and a little bit of brake work. The roadside mower, the gearbox was, changed today. So they'll get out and start doing some more roadside mowing here, soon. Crew, all good. Work, tree removal, brush removal, and they'll be doing that for a long time. Roadside mowing, prep for paving, cutting back shoulders, etc. Painting a crosswalk and stop bars. They did quite a bit of that on Robin Hood. Looks pretty good. I'd really like to get that done earlier in the year, but we finally got it done. Other priorities. Brian checked with Ireland. Paving start the first week of August is what their plan is right now, and they should be completed the second week. Striping. You guys approved it last meeting, and I sent in the signed contract, and be bugging them to start in September once we know that paving is completed. Salt. There's two pieces of paper that you have. Let me just find mine real quick regarding salt and salt prices. The one from Compass states that, they've already got their allocation committed, so they're not gonna give us a price. The price from Cargill, it's 111.25 per ton, estimated 300 tons. We have 33,000 on that line item, so if we did the whole 300 tons, we'd be $375 over, but we don't even know if we're gonna use the whole 300. There's a company out of Massachusetts we're waiting to hear from, but Cargill we've used on a pretty much consistent basis, and they've been very good at getting us the material. If we don't wanna approve this tonight, waiting on maybe a Massachusetts number, I'd like the board to at least give approval for Brian and I to sign up to a 111.25 per ton, so that next week we can get a contract signed and move forward. But that's totally up to you folks. Again, we used Cargill last year, they were 103.50 a ton, so it's an 8% increase. But after what happened last year with people running out of salt and so on, I wanna get this signed fairly soon. And if everyone's also good with it, I don't have any problem going right back to Cargill this year.
Yeah, I think that price is good. I mean, like Joel says, after last year's fiasco by the end of winter, get it at a good price while we can.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts.
The price doesn't stand out to you as being like outrageous, so I wouldn't, I would be the local. I would go with it.
Well, if that's the case, if someone would make that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the paving from Cargill.
Salt.
I apologize, salt from Cargill for $111.25 per pound, correct?
Per ton.
Per ton.
There a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Here.
Just, how long do you think it's gonna take you to get a quote from, that Massachusetts place?
They told Kevin they hope to have something next week. They didn't even have a price per ton yet. And here we are, pretty much end of July, but that's what they told us. That makes me concerned just a little bit that they wouldn't
Yeah.
even know that.
I guess so, I guess with that in mind, you probably ain't gonna get a price anyways. Or if we get one for less than this, I guess it'd be too late, but it is a tough thing to deal with right now, I'm sure. I'm surprised it ain't up more than 8%.
Yeah, me too. Any other further discussion? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. And the last thing is Kevin, I asked him to take a look at Brooklyn Street and see if the ground's dry enough. So we get to that in the next few weeks before, we might start getting the fall rains and so on. That's to put in that, culvert and stuff. That'll take 2-3 days anyway to get that in there.
Is that culvert causing an issue?
This is the deal where the stormwater runs into the village's sanitary sewer. So we have to get our stormwater disconnected and we're running it over across the ditch
Yeah,
between
down to the
TDI and that
river,
home over
yeah.
there, yeah.
This is something I remember from last year, and if you don't remember, that's fine, but there was something involving Decker Road, like replacing something.
We did.
You did?
Decker Trail, it's culvert up there, it was part of the VEC line upgrade that they were doing. They left us a couple of culverts and we changed that probably a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah, great. We didn't get to it before the end of last fall, but we took care of it there recently.
Cool.
Yep. Okay, after highway updates was expenditures. So, let me get back. Five. The orders are dated 17 June 2026 to July 21st, 2026, so we don't need to repeat the dates unless someone really wants to. Entertain a motion to approve the general orders for the amount of $192,607.75.
I'll make a motion to approve the general orders for that stated amount.
Here a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Highway, entertain a motion to approve the highway orders in the amount of $103,070.38.
I'll move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
There's two police things, but is that because of the end of the year? But Kathy's not here, so I know it is, it's not an issue, but I'm just wondering why we made two payments. And it looks like the checks are on the same day, or close to it. Yeah, 7/11, or was it 7/7, 7/11, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like 2 months of
Yeah,
pay there.
but I don't, you know,
One says June,
where
Yeah,
does it
they-
say June?
it says June under the second one.
Yeah, the first one just says 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was June's payment in,
That one is, this
Yeah.
one we can ask. The
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah, we should just follow up and
Yeah,
send a note
but-
to everybody. Cause the amount sounds about right.
Yeah, it does.
Monthly, but
yeah,
I can find out on Monday from her.
yep.
Any other
That's the only,
questions on the highway?
only question I had on that.
Alright, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved, entertain a motion to approve the library order of $7,524.58.
I'll make a motion to approve the library orders for that stated amount.
There's a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, any further discussion?
I seen this somewhere else, that premium on the top, LIDEAD and D, what's that all mean? It's a national life insurance.
Accidental death and disability.
Yeah. It's one of the
Health
benefits.
insurance.
One of the benefits, okay,
Yeah.
alright,
Probably our life insurance,
yep.
employees' life insurance.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Highway and general payroll in the total amount of $43,418.15.
I'll move.
Motion's been made, or a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Library payroll, entertain a motion to approve the library payroll in the amount of $11,147.17.
I'll make a motion to approve the library payroll orders for that stated amount.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Entertain a motion to approve special orders amount of $3,856.82.
I'll make a motion.
Hear a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved, so. We're gonna get the first round of those to sign. Alright, now we're on to Newtown Business Road Erosion Inventory Grant, page 31.
What that is, it was brought to our attention when Kevin and Christina attended a seminar that we were supposed to be doing a survey of our inventory of road erosion and reassessments of such things as culverts and ditches, etc. And it needs to be completed by October 31st, 2027. There is a grant available that will fund an intern or interns from Northwest Regional Planning to do the work. So I called Northwest Regional Planning and spoke to them out there, and they don't have interns. They have interns that they're committed to this summer, but we have to do this grant application, and they will get somebody here, and they will be able to do it next summer in time for the October 27th. So I'm just looking for permission to sign this grant application.
Someone wanna make that motion?
I'll make the motion to give Brian permission to sign the grant application.
Here a second?
That on its
Second.
way. Okay, thank you.
Motion been made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. Next item of business, update on the zoning administration, job ad that's out there.
Okay, we've posted the ad for the zoning administrator. We've received 3 applications, and right off on the first day. The way this has to work is these people will be, applicants will be interviewed by the planning commission. And they in turn will make a recommendation to the select board. And then the select board will do the appointment, the hiring. We hope that the select board, since we're not meeting the first Tuesday of the month in August, that the planning commission will have a special meeting to interview these people, make their recommendation, and we can put it on the agenda for the select board meeting, which is a special meeting on that Wednesday. That's the plan, because Amy is done come September. She's not gonna work.
Well, when's the application deadline?
Until we fill it.
What's that?
Until it's filled.
Okay, cause I was kinda looking at the thing and I didn't really see it as a date, and then I saw on August, for the 4th for the planning
Yeah.
commission.
Yeah, so that's the way we're gonna proceed with this. You know, as I said, we've gotten 3, we haven't gotten any others, we'll go from there.
You got 3 the day it was first went out, or before it even went out?
2 the first and the third, like the next day. And I forwarded those to Joel and to the resume and cover letters and to Ross, and just keep them in the loop and what they're looking at, and if they wanted to have a discussion with me, I'm open to that, and what they want to do, bring them all in, or they weed them out. I mean, that's up to what they want to do.
Don't you think the rest of the select board should see the resumes of the ones that applied?
Or having, I think the idea that we were talking about in the I think maybe a good idea would be to have the representative for both the select board, the DRB, and the planning commission. Might be a good idea.
But it's statute, right?
This process is in
And
state
it's
statute.
It's in state statute, okay.
But I mean, I would think the planning could invite
They could if they
to the
wanted.
interviews, right, so that's something that
Yeah.
needs to be discussed with the planning. We didn't know that when we were talking in the
Yeah.
room that night,
Yeah.
that it's by state statute that
Yeah.
they get the first hack at this.
Yeah.
I would say just a little bit before their meeting is, they can send them out to us.
Well, I don't see why we don't have them now. I mean, it's
Well, yeah, we can
privileged
send,
information, but I mean, we're gonna make the decision in the end. It'd be nice to know, see the resumes of and you know, what the people that are applying.
we can send them now, and we might get 1 or 2 more, I guess we
Yeah.
can send them as we get them, but.
All right, I'll send them.
I mean, it's not public information. I understand that until the interviews take place and all that, but at least we got an idea of what's going on. Because if somebody in the community jumps us and we say, "Well, I don't know a damn thing about it."
Yeah, I mean, the way I'd answer that is it's
Yeah.
the plan commission, but yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I think seeing the resumes is a good idea, and then also they could discuss having representatives at the meeting if it's state statute.
But just for clarification, and correct me if I'm wrong, that being on emails now is public information. There's nothing.
It is.
Yeah, there's nothing in the subject saying privileged person, no, it's their resume and their letter of intent, but yeah, it is, so yeah, we can send it on, yeah. Okay.
I'll send them tomorrow.
And then the next item, you support letter for Lakewood
Yeah.
Sandy Point.
I received an email from David Hoskin, now he is project manager of AOT. And he was contacted by the land and facilities manager for ANR, Fish and Wildlife. Recently asked a question to them regarding boaters who use the Sandy Point access routinely parking along the roadside of Vermont 78 near Lakewood Drive, which they do frequently. And that is becoming a concern for visibility and safety concerns. They had requested, ANR, Fish and Wildlife, had requested that VTrans Traffic Committee conduct a study of the intersection in question. But unable to do that, they need concurrence of the town that it's okay to do. So, I think it's needed because we've been by there. Christina goes by frequently, and
Good thing is the road is wide there.
Yeah.
and I have a letter all set to go if you support it. It's all set to go. You just need to sign it tonight, and I'll send it on its way and get the process started.
Entertain a motion to approve that letter.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter for the traffic support study.
Is there a second?
So I'll circulate that.
Been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Alright.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
The state owns land along Sandy Point Road all the way to the fish hatchery, so I thought it was,
Pretty well, man.
it is wet, I thought so. But maybe they can have an alternative parking area or something.
I mean, it's, some weekends are bad, some aren't. Derby time is usually bad, even though this year the weather was bad, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
The shoulders are wide.
Yeah, the shoulders are, yeah, they're off the road. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I've seen worse situations.
But I think there was an accident there during the fishing derby
Yeah,
weekend.
well, it's funny, there's been a few accidents at Devon's too.
Yes.
I saw probably way more there than at the fishing outfit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Wheeler Round HOA Stormwater.
Okay, the other day, Mary Beth, the assistant clerk, received a phone call from Peter Cross Engineering, wanted to know who, they're doing an application for stormwater permit for Wheeler Round. And wanted to know who the contact for Swanton was. I said, well, put me on it. So, okay, so then I get an email, and actually what it is an application to be a co-permittee on Wheeler Round. So I called, or sent an email asking if they were, if they knew what the status of the homeowners association was of Wheeler Round, because that's been a discussion in the past. And, well, they said, oh, they must be all registered and set to go, and, you know, I said, well, I don't know. So I called Dave LeClaire, he's he's not, there was apparently, I haven't had time to look in the vault, but back when the development started, they did have a homeowners association, but that's not what they're operating under, and they're not registered with the state of Vermont. They have to, homeowners association should be registered as an LLC with the state Secretary of State's office, and then also have to file their operating procedures and bylaws with the town where they're residing. I don't believe we have any of the above. So I'm hesitant for us to be signing on that permit right now, because we will accept all liability if something goes wrong. That's the exact reason why the state of Vermont requires the town to sign on these permits. In case somebody backs off and says, oh, that's it, we're not gonna do it.
Well, how come it's even come up as an issue if they have no homeowners associations?
Because the A&R people say, well, it's all right.
So the A&R knows that there was a permit there.
This is a part of that 3 acre rule.
It's a 3 acre
Relooking at the
A new
3
permit.
acre parcels and.
So A&R says, well, as long as they're filing an application, then it's a valid homeowners association. Well, for small developments, I don't classify that as a small development.
Does the state classify it as a small
There's 30
development?
small units up there. Well, it's,
Do they consider that small?
well, I don't know what they consider it.
That's what we should find out.
But I'm telling you, it's over 3 acres,
Yeah.
and that's not,
Yeah.
it's 5.7 acres is actually what the amount is, and I just, I'm very skittish of signing something like this at this time without everything being properly.
So who's paying cross?
Well, Dave goes around and collects enough money from everybody to kind of cover the bills, and I don't know, as they go further on, when they find out what they have to do and how much these permit fees are gonna be, could be a real
Yeah, I'm not,
problem. I mean,
this is one I, unless the state forces our hand, right now, that permit resides with that group of people,
Right.
whether they're formal or not.
but this, yeah,
But for us to,
but the state says we own the road.
That's
so-
right, well,
do?
we
Yeah.
do.
Right, so there is a way around that, and that would be for the town to request to the state, they separate the road, and we'd have to apply for our own permit. Which they might approve that, and then again, they might not, they like to keep everything, their bottom line is they wanna keep the town on there. The other aspect is that the town assumes all the responsibility for the permits, and then assess stormwater fees, and that's gonna take some further action, and further research on how to do that, so, so that's,
don't we have, and I can't think of the firm right now, coming in to talk to us probably late August
Yeah,
regarding Country
yeah.
Club,
Ruggiano.
Roggiano, so to me, it's almost part of that discussion.
Yeah, that we now have this problem,
Right.
and, yeah, and he didn't get back to me yet with a date, but I gotta get it, cause I'm saying we have another issue that they're not involved with, but, yeah, this is, so I'm just gonna politely tell them that, we're not in a position to sign this at this point. And,
You're gonna tell Cross that,
yes.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that I will look here for those documents, but I doubt if they were done 40 years ago,
Yeah, I'd like to have the state rep, stormwater rep,
yeah,
come see us
yeah,
and talk to us about this whole 3 acre stuff, and after we meet with Ruggiano, it might be good to meet with them and
yeah,
hear it right from them on what exactly is happening and not happening, cause it's a quagmire for a lot of communities.
all
And
over the
there's no,
state,
and there's
yeah.
no easy resolution. This
Right.
country club's been 2 years, I think, since we had that meeting in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's, yeah, that's my fear is happening. It's all in legislation.
What's that?
I feared it wasn't so much the legislation, I mean, we all want clean water and clean lake, but I said to my caucus members, I'm worried about the rule writing authority that's in that bill, what it's gonna do. And here we are.
Yeah, okay, moving along. Next meeting agenda items, couple things I wrote down, quarterly finance, we should get a review up through June timeframe. Special funds, as part of that. I think it'd be good to invite Missisquoi Valley Rescue to come in and talk to us. Just give us a little bit of what's going on, responses and what's going on with their new facility and stuff. I don't see any signage up there change at all, it still says BAS or whatever.
Yeah, and my understanding is they're gonna be where they are at the village till probably the end of the year.
Till the lease runs out, probably.
Well, I think there was some issues, they had to get some type of permit for that garage.
Yeah, they have
where-
to get a Highgate permit, yeah.
And yeah, I think something with the state too. Anyway, I think it'd be good to have them come in here and just give us an update. We have a contract with them and it's up to you folks, but I just.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from him.
One thing, I think I would ask that you and Christina take a look at Zoom procedures, because I don't know enough to really say whether we shut somebody down, what our standing is, if we can or can't, because right now, again, this person by name up there, but we have no idea who it is. What are our, I don't say rights, but what can we do to ensure we've got a citizen, legit person on the other end of this? And I would ask that someone take a look at that. Yeah, I guess that's all I have.
Okay, skipped over community and economic development. I do have something to.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'd like
Not
to bring
intentional.
something
I
up.
think Nick had something on the LOT.
Yeah, I just wanted, if you haven't heard any feedback from business owners and how the general implication, have you heard any feedback about how that's going?
I've heard, a feedback, let's see, from, a little confusion as what they charged it on, and I took care of that. I think I reported that back last time, but then, this last week I had one, from, an individual who was upset at the fact that he has to charge it, on 1%, he has big ticket items, which he does. But they can go next and buy a car and not pay it. Well, I said it's different taxes. However, it was worked out. When I told them, well, you have to take your product that you sell, and if they live out of Swanton and say Alberg, but it wouldn't work for St. Albans because they have the local option tax, you'd have to charge it. But if you deliver it, say, to Alberg or to Highgate, there's no tax for the 1%. So that's
Only if they buy it in the store here.
it's
Swanton.
where you take delivery.
That's where you take delivery. So if you bought that vehicle here in Swanton and you took it here in Swanton and drove it from the dealership in Swanton.
It's
1%
cars
doesn't
does
apply.
not.
Okay. Well, it's, what, with a washing machine?
No, the boat.
Boat, okay.
Yeah.
So if you took possession of that boat in Swanton, you
You
paid the
pay it.
1%.
You pay it.
Yeah.
Or if they delivered it to
Yeah.
you in St. Albans,
Yeah.
you have to pay it.
Yeah.
It goes to them.
Oh, because that town has a tax.
So
So they have to collect it and send the 1% under St. Albans.
yeah, there's a neat tool when they do the paperwork. You can go on the Vermont State Department of Taxes, and they have what is known as a zip code locator. Because we all know how the post office, some St. Albans and Highgate's got Swanton. Well, if you put in the street address for the town, it'll tell you if there's a local option tax required. And I tested it, Christine and I tested it, and it's accurate, so.
Check Sweet Hollow Road and stuff like that where it has different town addresses.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is from 3 or 4 different vendors, including out-of-state vendors, I've noticed that 1% being added to the purchase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's being, anything that I've bought locally, it's on, and it was on, I did buy something online this week, and
It's there.
so it's working, it's being collected, we haven't seen any money yet, of course. And, the grand list has been calculated, and I just wanna check with David to make sure that I have the right percentages. But it's right in the same ballpark of 77 for us, 23 for the village, but I'll get from him and I'll send out a memo and say exactly what it is as of July.
How many decimals we taking it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanna get every one of our pennies.
And also, when you send that out, could we note the change from last year's grand list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, okay, this has to do with the, industrial park signs, I had a conversation with Neil, Spears Monday, I believe it was. Because, if we're gonna putting a sign up there, for Robin Hood area, and they're building a new facility, I'm assuming they're gonna put some kind of sign up for their facility too. And Neil wasn't really sure what was gonna be transponding. So, he's gonna talk about this with the trustees, to see, because I don't wanna put a sign, we put a sign in one place and could be in, be something that would make it more difficult for them to do the signage they were planning, if they were planning. Now, I don't know, so that sign down there, now we're waiting, hopefully we'll get a markup, he said, that's what he calls them, from the sign company with because we sent him our logo and stuff, and he's gonna give us a picture of what it could potentially look like. And hopefully we'll have something by the end of the week that we can share and, start approaching the businesses with it. We're still gonna have an issue down there, what are we gonna do with our, the industrial park on 78? where are we gonna put that sign? Cause where it is now really isn't, that useful. When I was talking with Justin, I think he'd be willing to come up and take a look at the area and maybe give us some ideas of what might be workable. Because it is kind of a tough area
Yeah.
because of 78, and that's a state road, and, we got some limitations there. What do you think about doing something like that?
I think it's worth looking into.
Alright,
I think it's good to promote our businesses.
yeah, so I do, especially right now,
Yeah.
Well, I'll see, I'll call Justin or email him, even though he does call me back. And see, when he could come up here and take a look at that area, and then as soon as I get the pictures from him, I'll get them out to everybody, and then I would like to start approaching the businesses out there, to show them what we're doing.
Yeah, I would suggest though, before you invite him up here, is you talk with the state. Cause
Well, I'm sure he's aware of because he isn't assigned, but I asked him that, and he said, yeah, he said,
okay, I mean, if he's comfortable with what the state requirement is, cause I'd hate to get down the path of, hey, this is great, and then,
yeah.
we find out the state's
Yeah.
gonna say no. Okay, that's good.
So, and then as far as I know, the wayfinding signs are on their way. Made a little bit of headway with the crooked sign here on First Street and Grand Avenue, the junction there. But we're gonna probably take a look at the signs. You can't change much, the state has their signs that are printed out that way, fine. But what they're attached to, we have some options there, and we're gonna try to dig into that a little bit more. That, and then Kansas Street, and of course we gotta coordinate this too with the Villages project. And we're not sure exactly where the right of ways are gonna end, when they make the changes in those intersections. But that's something that, we're gonna look at. Hopefully someday that crooked sign will get replaced
Alright.
with something that looks attractive. So that's what I got on that right now.
Alright, thank you.
I got one thing for any other business. Yeah, I know we don't. About the lighting in the library.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we got the designs now. So what do you think the next steps will be? Talking with the library?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
should sit down with the library and take a look, and then we need to have the discussion, and
Yep.
and probably after we talk to the library is, can they live with the right half when you enter, staying the way they are? And we just change everything on the left side or not, because there is a lot of light fixtures
And the other side.
on the other side.
But when we had that discussion with Abby, we said we we're gonna do this side now, and
Right.
and that was because there's no problem with the other side,
Right.
And the thing that I saw in those light things that we got is they have different wood grains, and that's probably one of the critical things that you want to get the input from the library is what's going to match up in there. Either design to me, I'm fine with. It's more or less how the color comes out,
Yeah.
That might be more important. And it does have options on there.
I could just bring the designs to the next library trustees meeting, or we could do a special meeting with them. Is what I'm not, just whatever you guys prefer.
Well, I think we've got to narrow down the fixtures and then just check the price. We don't have the prices, right?
Oh, you don't have the price.
We have the price of the originals, but we don't have the prices, difference on the others, but
Oh, the ones that you sent out aren't the same prices?
No.
he just gave us,
What?
Here's
it
some
looked
more
like
options,
Here's some
but-
more options, but they would have to get the price.
Well, we should get the price then.
Yeah. nice to have him take a look. Anyway, okay, so when's their next meeting?
I can look that up. I think it's in the middle of the month.
Okay, that's,
That's the second Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, it's usually second Tuesday.
Okay. Policy review, ATV ordinance, it's only a couple years old, I didn't see anything that needed to be changed, I don't know if anybody else has any.
I read through it. I didn't see anything that needed to be changed.
I haven't really even heard a complaint about
I
that.
can move it out 2 years.
No, I haven't, it's one of the quiet issues, it's like, okay.
Well, actually, I got one question about it. So, It's not, state highways are out, the town roads are in, village is out, and that's it. Okay,
Pretty much, yeah.
okay, just wanna confirm that.
Yeah, till this, yeah.
And the
And the
other,
rail trail,
Yeah, the rail trail is definitely out.
both rail trails, right? They don't not leave ATVs on Lamar Valley either.
No,
No.
it's federal law.
Yeah.
the other policy, the burn policy, I'm still waiting to hear back from the fire chief on that one, so we'll push that to August.
Okay. Correspondence? I think you covered what you
Covered
got.
what we got.
Public comment?
I won't take up much of your time. Did they come up?
Yeah.
You probably know why I'm here.
I'm sensing I might know.
I definitely,
Okay. So with the chamber closing at the end of the year, we have, the permit for the swans are in the chamber and my name. And with that closing and our permit expiring in December, we still wanna continue to have the swans. I already spoke to John Cart and he said as long as we have someone who has a 5013C, we can move that permit to that 5013C and the person who owns that permit. So, not looking for anyone to support the care of the swans or provide feed or anything like that. That's all taken care of. And the monies that we have garnered over the years to take care of them have been coming from the car show. When we have the car show, the money profits go into the chamber's coffers. And so whatever the difference was from what the town contributes toward the swan care comes out of that. Here is, it's really just as simple, just the last 3 years, how much it's cost. And I'm not asking you to pay for anything of that, it's just wanted to know if there's any possibility of using your 5013C and put my name with it.
Are we even considered 501c3?
No, well, we're nonprofit. 'Cause we're a
Maybe
municipality.
it's a different statute that
Right.
still would make it okay, but
But
my first question is the village turn this down?
I haven't been to them yet.
Because
We had our meeting last night with the chamber and he said your meeting is tonight, so that's why I'm here.
Right.
I am gonna go to theirs.
Because my take is it should really be the village doing it, not to kick it down the road from the town, but it's inside the village, it's in their park. You'd be asking them to do the same thing you're asking us to do, is basically just sign, take.
Just take
but,
that.
You know, even if we were considering it, there'd have to be some formal agreement.
Oh,
But-
absolutely.
But to me, the village is the first stop, I think. Cause we
Okay.
have no real ownership in that park, correct me if I'm wrong,
I thought it was a town green.
it's a village.
Ron Kilburn was always
yeah,
adamant
he was,
about that.
I think if you went back, but I'm not sure, the town owns the park, the village maintains it, but I've never seen.
That's always been my understanding.
I did not know that, all the years I see the village
Yeah.
in there doing everything, getting
Well,
permits
they
from the
maintain
village
it,
to do
yeah,
everything.
they just
They
maintain
maintain
it.
it, but I don't know.
But it is something that benefits all of Swanton, so
We've had more people
half a dozen, one or
this
the other.
year visit that swan pond.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And since we've upgraded the pond itself, it's staying nice and clean and, and it's being filtered out and it's really,
So you did a better job than Trump then.
well, I had a lot of help and I
You're
put,
not going there tonight.
Well,
I had a lot of help on
you know.
that project and
But
I appreciate everyone who contributed.
I don't have a problem with the village doing it, but I don't have a problem with the town doing it either because it is beneficial to all of Swan.
yeah, I just, one, we didn't warn this,
Right.
so under public comment, obviously
Yeah.
you can come and talk about it a bit, but I would say
Just wanted to begin a
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, cause I want the swans around here too, and I'm on SEP, and I, was not real crazy about the way that went down, but.
I think they didn't have enough information. I think if they had seen that we're not asking anyone in the subgroup to do anything. We're not
Right, you
asking,
just need someone
We
that they
just
can
need
transfer
someone-
the permit to, I understand. that.
that's the only thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm gonna still do the swans, and I have a helper now, she's wonderful, she lives right in the, near the pond, and, she's doing a really good job,
So
so,
you gotta train somebody for the future.
I've got her.
So they meet next,
Monday,
I have
next
to
Monday,
look.
yeah.
They go on
they're
their Monday?
they're opposite weeks of us on Monday.
Okay,
So my recommendation would
I
be,
definitely was going there.
go talk to them, and then we put it on the agenda if we need to for our next meeting.
okay, that sounds good, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's the only thing, like I
probably
said,
the sooner you contact the village, they could get it on their agenda for next Monday,
I
that
can
way.
call them tomorrow,
Yeah.
or
if
stop
it's-
and see them tomorrow.
And I'm having lunch with Bill on Thursday. So
Oh, you are?
he gets word that, it's gonna be on the agenda and he brings it up. So.
And a big thank you to all that work last
Right,
year
it's a lot of
to,
work,
to change that, and it looks great there. That, I know it was a lot of headaches for you,
Was dope.
beyond that, anyway.
It's all good stuff, we've had a lot of compliments on, the shed itself that, TDI donated and you hung the plaque up that I wanted to recognize and appreciate the people who had contributed in a very positive way to that pond, and so I'm so grateful that I had that kind of help, and we had the funds to be able to build it the way it should be built.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's,
right.
gone are the stinky smells of that water and getting filthy dirty. I mean, it was getting so bad, I really didn't want to put them in there.
And get in there and help clean it out without banging your head and everything, right?
Oh my gosh,
You got-
that's the
yeah.
best thing. I have a door I can stand up and, sweep the hay out, but, I appreciate you taking time to listen to
No.
me tonight, and I will be going there and we'll touch base again.
Yep,
Yeah,
Okay.
but after that meeting, talk with Brian and, yep.
Yep.
Mary?
Okay, very good.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Upcoming events.
I can do it. Thursday, July 23rd, 2026, DRB meeting at the town offices at 6 p.m. Friday, July 24th, 2006, Swanton Block Party, 5:30 p.m. Village Green. Saturday, July 25th, 2026, Swanton Car Show, 9:30 a.m. at the Village Green. Tuesday, August 4th, 2026, National Night Out, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Village Green. And Wednesday, August 5th, special select board meeting, 6 p.m. at the town offices.
Okay. With that said, I don't believe we have any reason for executive session. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that one.
Here, second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Thank you, folks.